Hello and welcome to a new feature from Clarity Media. We get inquiries and questions all the time with regard to how to play different puzzles, rules and strategy tips. But recently we've had a particularly high number of questions about sandwich Sudoku, and so we thought it would be a good idea to show you. So the first rule of sandwich Sudoku is reassuringly familiar. You place the numbers from 1 to 9 once in each row, each column, and in each 3x3 box of the grid, which is the standard Sudoku rule. The additional rule with sandwich Sudoku, which we think makes it fun and interesting to solve, are these numbers that you see around the edge of the grid at the ends of the rows and columns. Now what these numbers tell you is the sum of the digits between the 1 and 9 in each region. So for instance, the number 4 means that the digit or digits between the 1 and 9 sum to 4, and in fact there's only one way to make 4 using the numbers 2 to 8, which is the number 4 itself. So we know that this column contains 194 or 491 somewhere in it. Now here we actually have a 9, so we can use the 11 here to narrow down the options. So we know that a 1 can't go here, because if it was 971, the total for the row would have to be 7, and it's not, it's 11. So we know that the 1 must be over here somewhere, and in fact if we think about ways of making 11 from the numbers 2 to 8, then it can only be made from either 2 digits, such as 6 or 5, or from 3 digits. So we know that the 1 must go in one of these 2 squares. And what you might like to do is to highlight squares that cannot contain the 1 or 9 in a colour of your choice. So here we've used grey to indicate squares that cannot contain the 1 or 9. Now as you go through the puzzle, you will mark more and more squares in grey, and gradually you'll be able to work out where the 1 and 9 go. Now some numbers are useful immediately, others are less so. One number that's particularly interesting is 35, which is actually the highest number possible in a 9x9 sandwich Sudoku, because it's the sum of the numbers 2 through to 8. And so that tells us that the 1 and 9 must go at the start and end of the column in some order, and so we can go through and mark all these other squares in grey to show that they cannot contain the 1 or 9. Now as you solve sandwich Sudoku, you will generally find yourself trying to work out where the 1 and 9 can go first in each row and column, and then once you've done that and started to place some 1 and 9s, then standard Sudoku solving rules will gradually take over.